Hello everybody, this is Bruce at GC Railfan, and today, as you can already see in the first 5 seconds of this video, which has been fantastic thus far, you can see 3 8Fs, which are in War Department liveries. Yes, that is right, this is a review of Steam Sound Supreme's 8F Pack Part 2 in the War Department liveries. Now, there's a interesting backstory behind these. I've got people with me, so I'll introduce them while I'm at it. We have got the fantastic James from Problem Productions with us today. James?
He dead.
Yes, he...
Oh, he back.
No, he isn't. That's
no,
Jeff.
No, he's not. That's Jeff.
No, that's Jeff. Well, anyway, we've got JF288H or something with us. Hello, Jeff. We've got Jeff with us. We've got the magnificent Steve Burrows, who's co-head of RSUG Multiplayer, and we've got one of our regular ramblers, and that's Mike with us. Yeah, we will have James from Problem Productions when he comes back from being in the away channel on TeamSpeak. But anyway, on.
The most boring 20 minutes of your life.
Oh, it'll be more like boring 45. I tend to ramble for ages. Right, yeah. Anyway, down to business. Now, Steam Sound Supreme have released part 2 of the 8Fs pack, and some of you yes, they have. Shut up. Some of you viewers will remember that I distinctly said at the end of my first 8F review that part 2 will be preservation era 8Fs. As it turned out, for those of you who don't know, I'll quickly fill you in, but most of you do. It's obviously not, no. Basically, the Pres pack has taken a lot longer to develop than the first thought. So what they did was, in the meantime, as a kind of like a gap filler, SSS released a War Department pack, which is Pack 2. This consists of 2 liveries, War Department Grey and War Department Black. The black one we're just having a quick look at now. Looks very smart and everything else. We'll go through all the features in a second. If we go over to the grey ones, they've included 2 actual wartime ones, which are number 302 and 307. The War Department Grey was a livery they did actually wear. Technically, the Black War Department livery is a preservation era livery. This wasn't carried in the war, I don't think. But yes, we'll quickly whiz around the features and we'll get on with the exciting stuff of driving. So if we look... Ooh. Yes, I know. Ooh. If we look at the model itself, it's very nice. The textures are what I call fantastic, even on low graphics settings, which you guys know I record. I'm a working man with a working man's computer. As you know, I have low graphics. So even so, these engines look fantastic. If we look at the tender a bit nearer, we've got the there's obviously recently we have seen like these liveries where there's a bit of smidge of dirt mixed in on the paint, and that's what we've got obviously here. So there's patches of little bits of dirt and stuff, which I like. You can also see the rivet detail on the tender sides, which is very nice. You don't often get to see that detailed on a lot of locos. The underframe of the gear looks a lot better. The texture updates have been fantastic. On the back of the engine it looks quite dirty, with the buffer beam being quite covered in crap, and the buffers are quite dirty as well. If we go around this side, we'll take you around some of the features on the loco side of things. So, looking at the loco again, the textures are very nice, they're very good, very consistent. Along the top it's all consistent, on the top of the boiler, on the sides, everything, it's very consistent, the colours all match and everything, so it's brilliant. If we zoom in a little bit here, we can see that there is a legible builder's plate, which is fantastic. You don't often get to see that. If you zoom right in, it gets a little bit pixelated on my graphics, but if you zoom out, you know, there's still a high enough level of detail there that if you zoom in a little bit on your FOV, you can read that legibly. There's not many developers that manage to do that these days. Mesh Tools are the other one who managed to do that. Not many others care, I know that much. Interestingly, these ones have had different physics applied to them, these 8Fs, because they are air braked, as opposed to being... No, sorry, they're dual braked, beg my pardon. They're dual braked as opposed to being just vacuum. So, on the side of the smoke box, we have the Westinghouse air pump. Well, I'll call it a Westinghouse anyway, it looks like that. Which which yeah, thank you, Steve. It is Westinghouse. Which, as you'll see when I click on the black engine, which is one we're going to be driving, there are steam effects added to this. So we've got the compressor on the side, we've got the tanks for the air on the side. There's one on one side. If we go around to the other, there's two on that side as well. If we just zoom out a little bit and get into a position, what you'll see is there's a little black line going over the top near the dome just here. That goes to the cab. That goes from the air compressor, so that's the air line from the air compressor. So yes, again, the amazing steam effects by Chris Barnes have been applied to these engines with some advanced scripting. Reading through the paperwork that comes with the installer pack for SSS's 8F Pack Part 2, it clearly states that these engines have got a lot of scripting. I can't remember if I told you this in the first view, but for those who haven't heard, or for me as well, because I can't remember, my memory is like a goldfish. Basically, they've scripted the steam effects in such a way that the amount of chuff smoke, so I call it, the amount of chuff smoke that comes out of the chimney, is dependent on how much regulator and how much reverser you have applied. So that's quite nice. There has been a lot of thought put into these engines, definitely has. The pack itself is about £6 something. Bloody worth it, it really is. I'm recording this video on the 19th, so if you had part 1 and you were tied into the deal of getting 50% off the Prez pack, you still get 50% off, but you also get 20% off this pack, which unfortunately for you guys has now run out. So if you haven't got it, tough shit. It's probably the best way of saying it. So yeah, we'll just have a quick whiz around the black one and show you the differences on the livery. The livery on the black one has some minor differences, as in the fact that we've got some grease applied to the buffers, which is quite a nice little addition to the texture.
Bruce?
Yes?
Can I point out something else as well?
Yes.
It's black.
Yes, thank you, Mike. We know the engine is black.
Mike
That...
said he was born without a personality.
I also like the lettering and the numbering. It's a bit thicker and also has a Southern-esque type style to it on the black one. Oh, indeed, Mike. Oh, indeed. That'll be the sound you make as I punch you on Saturday, you bastard. So anyway...
What was that, Bruce?
Nothing, darling, nothing.
I'm sure your viewers would like to hear that.
Release the Kraken!
I don't know what that noise was. I don't want to know what that is.
It's Jeff.
Oh, it's Jeff. Well, these videos are monetized, so please be careful. But, yeah. Well, I've just clicked on the engine, and as expected, SSS's advanced scripting has come into force. By standard, these engines are set up so when you click them, it is in advanced mode. When they say advanced mode, it's not advanced in the sense of, oh my god, there's 10 million controls I need to do realistically, I'm going to die. It is more a case of advanced in the sense of that this model, no matter what livery it's in, has a steam chest emulated on it, so you have to like pump the throttle to get it to move. Otherwise, if you just whack it straight open like you do normally on railworks, you'll just wheel spin. There are limitations with that due to the what do you call it, the with the steam chest and wheel slip emulation being a bit poor in railworks. You do find that sometimes it'll say wheel slip and the wheel slip sounds do come on, but the wheels don't always slip, sort of thing. SSS have also said you could be going along with a nice heavy train, and then you can hit a random bit of track and the engine will just wheel spin for no reason.
Very cool.
Yeah, which is something to do with railworks actually, but it is quite a cool realistic effect because you don't expect it. So it kind of works out nicely. The safety valve you can hear, it's very nice, it's blowing off. Will you stop blowing off, you bastard? Oh wait, hold on, cylinder cock's open. Let's just get rid of some steam.
If you turn the pump on and release the brakes, that uses up steam as well.
It does, yeah. I wasn't thinking there.
Welcome to Cooking with Bruce.
It's pretty much like that, Jeff, yeah.
Today we're going to show you how to steam a locomotive.
Hahaha. Right guys, as you can just hear, I've taken the brakes off. So we'll zoom in a little bit. We'll move a bit close to the air pump so you can hear it. So now I've released the brakes to 0%. The ejector pump's working. And you can hear it. And you can see the steam being emitted outside of it, which is very cool actually. I like that. That is bloody awesome. So anyway, the Chris Barnes steam effects are applied to absolutely everything, including the smoke. My smoke is very black at the minute. I have no idea why, but anyway, we'll burn some coal in a second. The only criticism I have is something to do with the physics. Let me just put the brakes back on because this is rolling forward into oblivion. The only criticism I have again with it is I believe this was exactly the same on the Pack 1 locos. The boiler normally gets filled up to 99% when you enter a scenario, which is completely unrealistic. You'd be priming by that point, pretty much. So, yeah, again, I think that might be a Railworks limitation on that. So, keeping that in mind, you know, it's not too bad. We could have had a lot worse. So yeah, we're going to drive it and see how it handles. Now, interesting to note, Steam Sound Supreme have said a note for scenario builders in particular, which is why I'm doing it. You'll find out why I've done my review like this in a second. Steam Sound Supreme said for scenario builders and editors, they've basically said due to the physics limitations of the actual Railworks simulator itself, they recommend that you start a scenario with these ATEF's light engine. Reason being, because if you start a scenario coupled up to a train and then you uncouple from it subsequently later in the scenario, the simulator for some odd reason thinks that the ATEF is still coupled to say 20 wagons behind it. So when you go to pull off light engine, you will wheel spin like absolute merry hell. There's nothing they can really do about that. That is down to the game engine itself and some of the physics scripting in Railworks, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, I have to admit. But anyway, we're going to enjoy having a little bit of a blast on this, and I'll go through some of the audios as well, just before I set off. So we've got all kinds of whistles. We've got your long Stania hooter on the spacebar. We've got the random short whistles on the B button, which is quite cool. If you press U, I don't know if you heard that, but you get a guard's whistle. You're supposed to get a right away by pressing Shift U or Control U or something, and it doesn't work. So I think that's one of the things they're still trying to fix.
It's very soft and it's in the cab.
Thank you. It's so soft I can't bloody hear it. Maybe it is broken. Maybe it's there and it is really soft. But I can't hear it with my ears anyway. So it doesn't matter. But it is there. Just as a side note on the sounds, this is actually the third... No, sorry, this is the third release of Pack 2 within a week, basically. SSS released it. On the first day of release, everyone commented back to them and gave them feedback saying, "Hi guys, nice model, shame that there's no sounds on it," and they went, "Oh shit." So they kind of had to go back and sort that out, and then literally in 24 hours, in the space of 24 hours, these guys had everything sorted out and ready. The sounds were working again, and they just polished up the last bits literally just hours before I started doing this review late last night. So kudos to Steam Sound Supreme. I have to say a massive, massive thank you to them for such a fantastic, enjoyable little add-on, which is very good. I do rate SSS quite highly in terms of their customer relations and their products as a whole. But no, very, very much big kudos to them for that. So what we'll do is we'll keep the cylinder cocks open and we'll get moving. And we'll let you see some of these steam effects, which will drain my frame rate, but it's fun. And now, as you can hear the throttle coming off, you can hear that nice clanking sound that Stanya 8Fs had as they glided. So we'll go on to a heads out view for you so you can hear it.
Insert wind noise here.
It's the big end bearing actually making that noise.
Thank you, Steve. That's the terminology. Steve has quite nicely pointed out, for those of you who didn't hear it, that is the big bearing noise making the rattling noise, which is quite nice. So again,
the big noise is the big end bearing. The smaller, softer noise is the clicking sound, is the sniffing valves.
right, the clicking sound is a sniffing valve, so that's pretty cool. I'm more of a diesel person myself, that's probably why I don't realise what the terminology is.
What I'm here for.
Oh yes, that's what Steve is here for. He is the ultimate steam Ned. Huh?
Never mind. Yes.
Yeah, that's a compliment, Steve. When I say you're
Okay,
the ultimate
yeah,
steam Ned, I mean it in a nice way, not in a bad way.
I'm a trained nerd.
You are the expert. We'll call you the
Anyway,
expert.
Oh,
Right, there we go. So we'll just go through this station here, and we will couple onto our wagons. Just as a side note, for those of you who don't recognise the route, this is Cribbenmore. I always pronounce it Crabenmore, Cranbenmore, however you pronounce it. I'll link you to it in the description of the video. It's a freeware route off of UKTS. It does require a few freeware add-ons, I think. Overall, it's a very nice route, and I'm very, very fond of it. So much so, my friend Andy Stovold of SVRS Productions also got the route as well. He's very impressed with it. Same as Cool Matty Productions as well. They're all very impressed with it. I don't know if James has got it yet. But yeah, no, it's definitely a little route we discovered a few nights ago while looking for some decent routes on UKTS. And we were like, wow, this is actually quite nice. It's about 8 miles long. Thoroughly enjoyable. And yeah, we can get a fair little bit of gallop out of this engine, hopefully. That's it, right, put the brakes on. Whoops-a daisy. We've kind of gone far too forward. We will ignore that. There we go, that's not bad going. So we'll put the reverser back. I'll just quickly change the points. Some of you, I have been asked by someone before actually in a private message on YouTube. They said, how come you don't use the shortcut keys to change the points behind you? Because half the time when I do that, I always end up derailing. So it's not a good idea. And as you can hear, we should also get some flange squeal coming over the points. There should be some flange squeal there for you, which is quite nice. Admittedly it's looped, but it's still better than a lot of flange squeal I hear. At least it doesn't deafen you like the Mount Sorrel to Redland train going around the back road of Leicester Station over speeding, but we'll look over that. There we go. And this is where we couple up to the wagons nice and softly. Brilliant. So, actually yes, Jeff, that did actually happen. The viewers at home won't know this, but I did start filming this the previous night before filming. Ignore that jolt that you saw there, it's something to do with the Kuju couplers on these wagons for some reason. Basically, I was recording the video originally with SVRS, they got Andy from SVRS Productions and Cool Matty as well, and yeah, I was recording, I was quite tired, and I managed to reverse around this blind bend. It's blind if you get on the wrong side of the cab, slightly too fast, and I hit the wagons at about 12 miles an hour and did a great job of derailing them. So that was 18 minutes of my life wasted. But not really, actually, because it kind of means I have now got everything sorted in terms of getting everything running a bit smoother.
It wasn't a complete waste of time. We thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious with a load of 9 in hail. I'm going to get shot for saying that. Right.
Bang.
I think I'm going to. I don't know why my smoke is very black on this engine. I've not got much coal in the firebox, really. That's quite interesting. Okay then. Well, without any further ado, let's get going. So what we'll do is let's place a side camera somewhere. No, that's too far away. If we do that, we'll find a nice spot somewhere. We'll watch the train go by, and we'll let you hear the sounds for yourself. So I'll plonk us on top of this bridge parapet. Well, little pedestal thing. Right, we'll go about there. So we have to pump the throttle a bit to get it going, which is pretty cool. I love the Stanley hooter, so we'll keep that on to about 10 mile an hour. And we'll just set the reverse back a bit so we can see it throttle. And you see the smoke effects coming up. It looks quite realistic. Obviously with proper game engine it would go into the sky a bit more and dissipate, which is one of the limitations again of Railworks. So we'll go into the cab, we'll have a good view of what's going on. So we'll just turn the throttle off a minute and let it glide. Or on the down gradient, that'd be why, not a problem. So in the cab we have the little grate at the top, which is quite standard on these AFs. I don't think you can close it either. Basically the roof hatch, which is quite cool, so you always got the ventilation there. Just standard cab controls and everything. Really, there's not a lot that can be hand operated. Even then, I'm on manual fireman via this HUD, so it might be a bit difficult trying to do everything properly, but yeah, you see it's not letting me do the injector, yet when I press the auto button it will let me do it, which is quite interesting. Quite interestingly, the gauge in the cab says LMS on it, even though this particular reskin is supposed to be a North British built example, unless they did have LMS gauges, which is quite possible. The textures in the cab are quite nice. You get that nice feel of wear and nostalgia in this. So yeah, it's not all that bad, it's pretty cool. Also, if you stick your heads out, you get the different sounds. So you get the more open sound. The sound's more muffled in the cab, as it should be. Which you would expect, so it'll be quite a noisy, loud atmosphere. So we've got that to think about. So let's just give her a bit of oomph. I like the fact that on this engine you can open the throttle wide open and you can hear the thrash, you can hear the bark. So the smoke does vary, if I can zoom out a little bit, by how much throttle you've got on. So if we have a quick look there, if I reduce the throttle a bit, you'll see that the smoke dies down a bit. If I put the throttle back up, it goes a lot higher, stuff like that, and it will depend on the throttle as well. On the reverser even. My apologies. I also think I've made a massive catastrophic cock up. No, I haven't. That's fine. We nearly had a derailment. That would have been very, very bad. So that's pretty cool. We'll just let the engine glide for a bit, I think. So as you can tell, when the engine's idle on the throttle, you can see more black smoke coming out because you're not really giving it any more of a stick to get up a hill or out. So it's quite nice in that respect. It is quite pleasant. Also with the track joints on an 8-coupled loco, it's quite nice.
The reason that you produce more black smoke when you've got your throttle shut off is there's not a lot of oxygen or any other particles being pulled through the fire, so it just...
Yeah, that's very true actually. Thanks for that explanation, Jeff.
Crank the blower up and
See if that changes the smoke. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, thanks for that. That's a good idea.
I mean, I suppose it can't be any worse than the G-Trax locomotives where just a solid jet of steam shoots out of the...
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
They were cool in railworks too, then all of a sudden it was like,
The blower isn't really making much of a difference.
Is it not?
No, but it did mean the safety valve came on.
Well, sorry.
No, it's alright, it's not your fault. I was near the safety valve limit anyway, it don't matter.
Just a question, the water glass.
Ah, yeah, the water glass.
Does the water...
The water bobs up and down in it, yes.
Okay.
The water does bob up and down.
Do you have isolating handles and the ability to drain the drain cocks? Or not drain cocks, gauge glasses?
The model isn't that advanced, so we can't open the drain cocks or drain anything as such, because basically, for the viewers at home, Jeff raises a good point. Basically, this model is based on the 8F that was made all those moons ago by RSC, and they did a very small update on the textures for it for the Woodhead route when that was released. And obviously, what that now means is, the model was quite old in that respect, but in terms of textures, they've brought it up to date. But in terms of the features of advancement of opening drain cocks, having both injectors open and stuff like that, and doing everything by hand in the cab, it's still limited on this model. There's a lot of things that SSS would like to do to the model, but they can't do because of the way RSC made. Yeah, just in case you missed that, because we had a bit of a derp on Bandicam. Basically, because of the way RSC have made the model, that means some of the features are limited. You can get a decent amount of thrash on this engine, it's quite nice. Okay, we're going through Cribbenmore Platform 1 instead of Platform 2. Don't know why that is, but it's still quite nice. This station is quite nice on this route, because it kind of splits around, it's like an island. Reminds me of some of them, typically in Scotland around Glasgow, which is quite cool. There we go. And we'll shut the throttle off and let it glide a little bit. We have got a... In fact, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put the brakes on. Actually, we've got a little gradient coming up. And I think this gradient will be a nice opportunity for you to hear the full potential of this engine at full bark. So we'll give it a little bit of a run up. Of course, we've only got a light train really. But let's put the brakes on. Oops, accidentally putting in emergency.
Don't do that.
Well, it means it just stops a bit quicker, which is handy. Right, now we're on the gradient pretty much. Okay then, so let me just fill up the boiler. Now we'll put the blower on, try and counteract the water being put in. So what I'm going to do is, this is like, I think it's 1 in 70 something, we'll do a slight gradient and I'll put it on full bark so you can hear and see the smoke. And we'll see what it's like from behind the engine. So if we zoom out a little bit, it goes about there, that'll be perfect. Well, actually about there, because of the line side furniture. Right, so get ready to do that. That'll do for the minute. Let's take the brakes off. Cylinder cocks. So, if you open it straight up, you get wheel slip. So, this is what I mean about the emulation not being great. It wheel slips, you get the sound, but the wheels don't always go. And listen to that go. Oh, and Jeff has departed, that's a shame. He might be back. There we go. Hear that bark. Now, not much smoke's coming out the top at the minute, really. If you look at the effects of that. But, there you go. When it wheel slips, you get loads of smoke come out the top, which is brilliant. So what we'll do is we'll put our sander on. There you go. It's on the 1 in 73, so we've had a little gradient there. Should be able to pull up and accelerate a bit more now. This is a great thing about this loco. I'm absolutely amazed with it. Same with the other 8Fs before it. Again, it's brilliant. You know, the realistic sounds are pretty much there. The fact that the physics have been implied for wheel slipper there. Shame that the wheels don't spin automatically, really. That's a limitation to how it works. But hopefully we'll change a game engine in the next year or so. That might fix problems. There we go. Whoopsies. Major wheel slip. Lost our footing there a bit, didn't we? Right, there we go. So if you study the smoke as we accelerate a bit quicker, so we'll open her up a bit, we'll overspeed on this section. There we go. We'll just glide a bit because we could do with some water in the boiler quite urgently. This thing does drink a lot of water though. It is a bit like... what else did I drive recently that was very thirsty on water? I've forgotten. Was it the J50 compound or something? Well, in the compound. I remember that quite well. It did drink a lot of water. We'll just check our map, make sure everything's aligned. Yep, that's fine. Whoopsies. That was just a tad too close. Right, there we go. Yep, that's cool. That's ready to go. So, fine. So we'll fill up the boiler a bit more. But yeah, we'll finish off this run and we'll call it a day on the video. Now, the wagons on this wagon pack are the Great British wagons from Digital Traction. Very nice wagons. Some of them are also from the 5600 pack by the bloke who calls himself Karma99. I have no idea why he calls himself Karma99, but he does. But yeah, some of the Great Western wagons in this rake are from Karma99's 5600 pack, which is very good. I recommend you buy that as well. I'll just do a review on that one day when I can be bothered. But yes, we're casually going down the one in 81. We'll cruise down here. There we go, lovely. I think with the A test, what you got to remember is on the water filling, do a little bit often, so try and keep it around a nominal value. So I normally, when I'm focusing on not doing reviews at the same time as driving, the water level gets kept around about 45-50%, 40% minimum I always go by. Coal on these things about 30-40% likewise. This thing's very efficient on coal, always has been model wise. You know, these SSS modified ones are brilliant. The coal lasts a long while, you don't need to pile loads on for it to make a decent fire. So whatever they've done to the physics, they've done a good job, so I can't complain at that one. But the water for now, I'm just going to whack a fair bit in there just to keep me going. It's not very far now between here and the end of the route anyway, so when we get to the end of the route we'll round it up. That'll do for the minute. There we go. Right, we'll close that. We're cruising again, so as you can see, no oxygen's really getting to the fire and it's burning a very sooty black colour, which is quite nice. So if we open up the throttle a bit, what you'll see is there's been a bit of a colour change, and there will continue to be a bit of a colour change. There we go. And now we've got a 1 in, I think it's a 1 in 75 this one is. It should be a 1 in 75, it might be a bit higher than that. As you can see, my smoke has gone black again because I'm putting coal on the fire. If I close the doors and we give it a fair few seconds, it should go greyer. 1 in 70 this one is. Then a 1 in 85, so. Oh, whoopsies. Put the headlights on wrong.
Boo.
Hello, Salim. I'm just filming my YouTube review for the SSS-8Fs. So this is another member of the RSUG contingent, and that is Salim.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody.
We lost Jeff, we lost Steve, and then came Salim. So yay, we got more company. Right, we best shut off the accelerator, or else you guys are going to see me become a laughingstock on YouTube as I accidentally crash into a station. So let's put the anchors on a bit. Now the brakes are quite effective, actually. I have to admit, with it being dual brakes as well, it's quite handy. There we go. Let's keep that up now. Let's see where we're going to. Then we'll have a quick. Let's have a quick newsy. Okay, yeah, that seems quite plausible. We can do that. So yes, overall this review has been very good. I would definitely recommend that you buy the SSS-8Fs pack. They are, for those of you who haven't already got it, basically, I have got a review of part 1 of the series, which is in my channel list. If I remember, I will link it to you. I'll probably forget. But yeah, they have got that coming up as well. They are in the middle of sorting out a pack. The pack will cover all of the 3 parts of the 8F series, which is good news for all of you because you'll get a discount off of it. So yes, do not feel bad if you've not got it. Definitely hold your money and bide your time a little bit, and you'll be seen right by SSS. They are very, very good at doing stuff like that. So on this lovely, fantastic route with this fantastic engine, I bid you all farewell. So it's goodbye for now from Bruce at GC Railfan. Thank you very much for watching.